scared. Welcome, summoners, to the Mid-League Pre-Show. This week we have a very special pre-show in store for you, and it will be quite spooky. So come, gather around the campfire as we tell our scariest stories. My name is Mac Dewey, the birthday boy. I'm very happy to be here for yet another exciting week of Mid-League action. Joining me for the pre-show is none other than Icarus and Cam, the absolute goats here. Cam, I believe you're starting us off here with what might be the scariest story ever.
Yes, I just might be. We are going to be starting with Degenerates Reformed tonight. We will be looking at these excellent players currently sitting in 9th place. They are currently sitting at only 1 win this season so far. We have innovative picks in the top lane, Sovereign in the jungle, Colbox in the mid lane, Mob 5, and someone's birthday in the bottom lane. And so far, they have only taken 1 win this entire season, which was against Death Cards Academy, one of our teams that we will be casting tonight. And that was in their Game 3, which was their last game that they've played. So if they are able to continue this current victory win, they could potentially look to no longer be 9th place and potentially take a 7th or even 6th position so far. And I would like to see if they are able to do so.
That was quite spooky talking about the bottom team. Icarus, I'm wondering if you have any spooky thoughts to go with that story.
Spooky thoughts. The only thing spookier than thinking about the team is thinking about their gameplay over there. Degenerates Reformed, they gotta pick it up if they want to make it a playoffs, or else they're gonna get lost in the woods of mid-league.
They made it out of the woods in Light League, but Mid League is proving to be quite scary for them. Some challenging teams to go up against. Now, Icarus, I believe you have another story for us, good sir.
I do. It is a terrifying story of the team Shadow Blade Slash. Nobody knows what exactly happened to this team, but suddenly they disappeared. They came in weeks 1 and week 2 with a fantastic victory, going 3-0 in their second week and 2-1 in their first week. But out of the middle of nowhere, they vanished. Nobody knows what happened to them, but the rumor still says that every other week they show up out of the shadows and slash down their opponents in a 2-1 victory. And we're hoping that maybe the scary team will once again arrive this week, so keep your eyes out and do not go into the dark.
Very spooky indeed. Stay wary of the shadows, travelers. I myself have quite a story for you all. Do you care for the tale of Divine Ascension Obsidian?
Let's hear it.
I am excited for this one.
I consider Divine Ascension Obsidian... Oh, let me get my flashlight, guys. Real spooky. Wow. Real spooky stuff here. Divine Ascension Obsidian is my perfect Frankenstein's monster squad, and I don't think JDK's creation is out of the playoff picture just yet. In pursuit of perfection, the Obsidian team has either gone 3-0 or 0-3, and this week, especially with this week being the patch week, it would be nice for these wary travelers to get a little bit of a breather before making one final playoff push. While the team comes equipped with a plethora of subs that can be implemented from time to time, it seems that the main issue of the team is that they are missing some critical decision-making organ. The Frankenstein's monster is missing a coherent brain. We saw a lot of good skirmishing from the team last week against Death Cards Academy on stream, if memory serves me right. But I think what really killed them was some key decisions around the Dragon area. It was very challenging, and I think in all total of the 3 games, they only picked up like 1 or 2 drags. So after their bye week, hopefully Frankenstein has got to come up with another signature plan to exact some old-fashioned revenge. Additionally, travelers who are wondering what path befolds the Divine Ascension Obsidian squad, I want to point out that they've already gone up against Fever, No Fear Wolves, CB Rush, and Death Cards Academy. Now that's a seriously spooky schedule. They have gone 3-0, versus D-Gens, so I'm interested to see if they can once again, may I remind you, get into playoffs.
It is indeed a terrifying story, my man Mac, but is there anything scarier you have for us?
I wonder, Cam, what is next for the Campfire Circle?
I think we might have to look towards our Aventus Esports, as we have.
Ooh.
They're also currently, unfortunately, sitting near the bottom of this campfire area. So we do have, so far, only 2 wins in this split, but that does not mean they are quite out yet, as they do have the mystical powers of that Bard potential that I am looking towards. I've been saying it this entire season so far, but the Bard potential has been sitting so far unawoken.
Bard!
Yes, we are. They have so far had a very tough schedule, going already against CB Rush, Bucky's, Shadowblade Slash, as well as going against Fever last week and taking a win off of them. So far, their only wins in this season have been in Game 2, so we are looking for them to maybe break the streak and take a win in another game, which could be leading to a potential, like I was saying earlier, they could potentially end in that 6th or even 5th spot if they are able to unleash that potential.
Ooh, spooky! Scary! Icarus, what did you think, my man?
I think it's a pretty scary lineup, but I can tell you that there's another team that also has a scary dark journey in front of them. And that team is No Fear Wolves. Flip the flashlight. No Fear Wolves entered into the mid-league forest with their heads held high, confident that they'd come out on top. They knew that behind them they had the assistance of Gungeon Fail Guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, always there to back him out and get him out of any dire straits, and they thought for sure that he would be the shining light to lead him through mid-league. They made it through the first few weeks, heads held high, winning time and time again, but then, out of the woods came the top-tier teams. Suddenly, No Fear Wolves loses their first series. They go down 1-2. Nobody knows what's happened. Scrambled and scared, confused and lost. They don't know what to do. And they scurry back to the road of the 3-0 in the next week versus Ninetales Fox Onyx. But then, they were lost once again. The light had faded away as nothing but top-tier teams surrounded them in the woods. And when they screamed out, Gungeon Fail Guys, save us! Come, please, help us! There's nowhere to be found. We find ourselves here in week 6 as they face their last lights of hope here, their last chance to win another series versus the likes of Shadowblade Slash, but we do not know whether or not they shall win, as it is the second week. The Ghost team may come back and strike their foes down, and all alone out in the woods, they do not know whether or not they will be a playoff team or a top tier team, or if they too will be lost to the darkness that is mid-league.
Icarus, that's some scary stuff, man. Top tier teams. I feel like the Wolves should have some fear at this point. Gungeon's not even here to keep the light for them. Oh, goodness. Oh, this is going to be a high octane broadcast for us this evening, and I think Storytelling Mac might have 2 more stories for us. First, I tell you the tale of the Heavy League squad, Bucky's Stratosphere. This one's a good one. The story begins with a team that encountered the haunts of Heavy League. Backboard, winds overruled. It's been a long road for the Bucky squad, but now I think, fellow casters, they're one of the mid-league monsters, rising out of the depths, conquering the competition, and after rising from the depths of defeat, we were all surprised back way in week number 1 when they took a game off of CB Rush. I mean, that put the league a little bit on notice. Even Storytelling Matt got a little interested in that. I mean, taking down CB Rush, kind of lit, kind of a big deal. We probably could have seen their rise through the stratosphere coming, but that was week 1. Is the Bucky's meme really over? Well, here's a scary thought for you. Is mid-league really just trash? I don't think so. Well, after getting 3-0'd by the Zongi Horde, some may have doubted, but I think a 2-1 victory against the No Fear Wolves is certainly something that Bucky's can be happy about. They have got an easier end of schedule. The road ahead is clear. The path to playoffs has been laid out. They could still get a bye for playoffs. And they have their bye for Nine-Tailed Fox Onyx being gone. It's kind of like the Yellow Brick Road is laid out for them. Maybe the heavyweight squad has some decent competition left ahead of them, but now I feel like it's time for the prey of Heavy League to become the predators here in mid-league waters.
Ooh. Truly the most terrifying piece I've ever heard about Mac.
Well, we've got some more. I believe it is one more round of stories. Cam, do you want to start us off here with another terrifying tale?
Yes, we are going to one of our teams that we are having tonight as Death Cards Academy has arrived at our campfire zone here. For our players that will be playing tonight, we have Fugnuggler in the top lane, Sterling Archer in the jungle, Patrick Jones in the mid lane, Galiki Meep, and Ubu for Cthulhu looking over there in that bottom part of that campfire. So we have seen this team once before on this broadcast. We got to see them 3-0 last week against Divine Ascension Obsidian, but now they are going against this top seed team, currently CB Rush, both of them sitting at that potential bye for playoffs right now. But this could be the deciding factor of who gets to go in that first seed position if Death Cards are able to take either 2 or even potentially 3 wins tonight. So it should be interesting. But the spooky side of Death Cards still remains, as they don't have the easiest schedule in the future quite yet, as they do have their bye with Nine-Tailed in just 2 weeks, and then they are going to be going against Bucky's and Elventus Esports again. So if they do lose their potential matchups, they do potentially lose that free bye in round 1 for playoffs.
And we know how valuable that week 1 bye in playoffs can be. Icarus, I believe you have one more story for us to tell about another top-tier team now, do you?
I do. And if there's only one thing scarier than Max's changing accents here, it is the story of Fever. Gather around the campfire, children, as I tell you the story of one of the teams lost from their own ego. Fever came into this league, heads held high. Once again, another team, but this time, not only having the support of the casters, but the support of an org as well. Lotus here to support their boys through this thick and thin, with teams playing in both light and in heavy league alongside Fever. They knew that they could come into the mid league here and try and take away some easy victories, but alas, they talked too much. Their egos got too big for their breeches as they won their first week of games, but in week 2, they lost 1-2 versus the teams that they had put in the C tier themselves. Imagine, if you will, a scene where you release not just a power ranking, but a power ranking manifesto, and you place your opponents that you're about to face as a C tier team, calling them nothing but Death Cards Academy being a wild card team, ironic enough, and then losing to this wild card team 1-2. And when Zongi looks at his team, he looks at the rest of the players around him and says, guys, this was not supposed to be it. I was supposed to lead us to victory, to greatness with this trash talk. But it is too late for them. They already lost in their way, forced to wonder the rest of mid-league chat as everyone around them says, Fever, Omega lol, It mocks them to this day. They can never outrun their fate to be cursed as the team that lost the Death Cards Academy. Their egos too big, their heads too large, and their wins just not enough.
And thus concludes the tale of Fever. Absolutely bone-chilling.
A death too
My
soon.
fellow casters, I have one more story to tell before our end is nigh. One more team to talk about here, and it is a team we have not seen just yet on the Mid-League broadcast, but some roster members that the whole of Mid-League should be very remembrant of. Very well known, my fellow casters, let me tell you about a team known simply as Baba Yaga, aka CB Rush. They are not the boogeyman, but they're the team you send to kill the boogeyman. Violence, speed, momentum, coordination, winning solo lanes, something NA knows very little about. I once saw Rutledge take down 5 enemies with a crocodile. Absolutely wild. Just a single crocodile. Suddenly one day, they wanted an out. I gave Acid an impossible task. Win MVP. The bodies buried that season laid a foundation on which we stand today. And now they're back for revenge, you say? After they couldn't complete one heck of a beautiful, meme-tastic season, and then you kill their dog and steal their car? They started by making quick work through the bottom half of the teams, but I tell you this, the top half of Mid-League needs to be very scared, for Baba Yaga has come. And thus concludes Spooky Stories by the Campfire from the Mid-League crew. Gungeon, shout out for him being in the top right above Cam. He's still a part of the pre-show. The ghost is named Gungeon, guys. Boom. You know what is even scarier than these spooky stories? Discounts on coffee. What? AM grind ad. Bam. Bet you guys didn't see that coming. Mid-League show is about to start in just a little bit. Stick around. The show match tonight is Death Cards Academy versus CB Rush. The 1 seed taking on the 2 seed. What's more exciting than that? I don't really know. Don't click out of that browser. We'll be back in just a bit.